Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a want for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Mango, and Carta.
Mango.
Yeah.
So what brings upon that name?
Because I came up with a pun called Bingo Mango, and then I just liked it, so I kept it.
Remember that character Mango on Saturday Night Live that Chris Kattan used to do?
Mm-hmm. Vaguely.
Yeah. I do too, vaguely. It's just when you said Mango, all of a sudden that popped in my head.
What was his thing? I don't remember much.
I'm trying to remember. I think he was like a androgynous, like stripper type character or something, or dancer.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I think I sort of remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
That's interesting. But yeah, I like the name Mango. And I like fruit mango. So I decided to change my name to Sesame, Mango, and Carta, which I don't think sesame seeds would go well on a mango personally, but
I don't know.
We'll see.
Should try it.
Maybe.
I mean, how did they get the sesame seeds to stick to the bun?
I still don't know. I'm thinking some kind of like oil that sticks, maybe, or some kind of glaze. I don't really know.
And that's a joke I stole from Mitch Hedberg.
Oh, okay.
Who coincidentally, in a nice segue, guest starred on an episode or 2 of that 70s show before he passed away.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he worked at the Hub, the little hangout that the kids all went to. Yeah. And with that in mind, we are talking today about the new Netflix 10-episode first season of the sequel series to that 70s show entitled That 90s Show. So, we are in this follow-up here. It's like 15 years later after the end of that 70s show. And we're following the adventures of Leia Foreman, the teenage daughter of Eric and Donna from the original series, and her hanging out down the street, the same old thing she did last week.
Hey.
Well, wait, no.
Hey.
In the basement of the Foreman's house, spending the summer with her grandparents, Red and Kitty Foreman. and in Point Place, Wisconsin. Yeah, in the same house that all the adventures from the original series took place. And we meet a new group of kids that she becomes friends with. And they all hang out in the basement, and insanity ensues. Right?
I mean, I wouldn't say insanity, but
I know.
but they hang out and they smoke pods, which I'll get into that whole thing in a minute. But
yeah,
because that pot had to have been at least 20 years old, and okay, so
yeah.
I'm not sure if it lasts that long, but
I guess it doesn't really go bad per se. It might lose some of its potency.
That's true, but it might burn your lungs being so dry too. But
that's okay because you can wash it down with some Raisin Bran.
Well, yeah, I guess that also might make you cough. But now you got two things, scratching your throat. So I don't know, and
yes,
didn't think that through, but
so they call it cat scratch fever, my friend.
That's the reason why. No, it's not what they call it, but I don't think that's what Ted Nugent meant. But the Nuge, the Nuge.
Yes.
I love that guy.
Great American.
I love him so much. I love Ted Nugent. I love him.
I believe you too.
You know how I'm saying love. I love him. Anyway,
why don't you marry him?
I love him just like the buffalo he kills. Oh wait, what?
Yeah. The day Ted Nugent killed all the animals. The day Ted Nugent killed all the animals. He did it so he could bond with his male friends. He did it so they could broadcast it on ESPN.
Wally Pleasant.
Yes, Wally Pleasant. Yes.
One of the good things about this show is that there was no Ted Nugent music feature, which of course is 90s, so probably wouldn't make sense. But
yeah, he wasn't really that popular then.
There were some Ted Nugent in the original that every time I cringe a little bit, like,
yeah, it's okay.
A lot of music's actually not that bad, which makes it.
No, I was gonna say there's a lot of like people that I don't really agree with or like that have actually created good art. So it's not like I can,
like Stranglehold's a really good rock song. Then again, he's not singing on that song. He had a singer in his band who actually could sing.
Yeah,
and then Ted got jealous because he wasn't just like the only star in the band because he has to be like the center of attention always. And then so he fired the guy because he sang too well, essentially. And then so that's why all the songs suck afterwards because he sings the songs and he can't sing.
That's why I got fired from all the bands I was in.
Why is that? Because you wanted to be a star, or you wanted to...
Yeah, exactly. I sang too good and I was too good looking and stuff,
Oh, so they're like, I only I could be the star of this band. Anyway, I don't know why. I kind of digressed there.
Yes, it's fine. So, all right, let's start out. Okay, I'm just going to ask you blanketly initial thoughts of these 10 episodes.
I didn't really like it very much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't read any reviews beforehand. I didn't let my opinion be swayed at all from anyone else's thoughts about it, or it being too woke, or which I didn't. I watched it. I barely didn't see that at all.
No.
Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, I guess by woke they meant that there was a black character and a couple Asian characters. So I guess to them that's what woke means. So, but to me, other than that, there wasn't. I wouldn't. Yeah.
No.
Call it that.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. So, my main thing with it is I don't. I mean, obviously, it's not as good as the original, but the problem with it is that people. Not saying you, because, you probably have different reasons for not liking it, view the original through, nostalgic, rose-colored glasses. And, it's, like, the original show, I rewatched some of the episodes, and it's not really better than this. It's decent, but, I mean, it's not like lights and bounds better, or leaps and bounds. I don't know what lights and bounds are, but we'll go.
Yeah, leaps and bounds. Yeah.
Yes. I was trying to say light years or something.
Light years, yeah, light years. I mean, yeah, I don't know, because I was never like a huge fan of that 70s show. I don't know if I ever watched like a whole season of it. I would just kind of, check out a few episodes here and there, and then kind of forget about it, and then kind of, up later. But I don't know. I just I kept picking up like it was almost like a Nickelodeon type vibe, or like a Disney Channel. Like,
I think the reason I think that comes through, and a lot of people make that comment, and I'm not trying to say it's not justified, because I think it is. It definitely, a lot of the things in this show would never be on Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. But I think a lot of it had to do. This was filmed on like tape.
hey,
The original show was filmed on film, so it has a different look to it. And like all of your Nickelodeon shows, for the most part, are filmed on tape. So it has the same look as a Nickelodeon show.
yeah,
But it also, I mean, has the same look as like a 90s sitcom, like a Full House or a Boy Meets World or something like that too.
yeah, like the
yeah,
brightness, it seemed like too bright for me for that kind of show.
I think they should have used like different types of cameras. Obviously, they don't film things on film anymore, but you have a film look camera, like a red camera or a Blackmagic, or different things like that. But this was filmed like with standard, like basically like the same type of cameras you use for your like local news or something,
Yeah,
or you're going to film like The View, or or even regular news, like or like news you'll see on like Fox News or CNN or something like that, But it's the look bothered me. I would have preferred it be on a film type of look. That was my main issue. My other issues with it is that there were some major issues with some of their products in the background. Like there was particularly a Pringles can, which was a modern Pringles can with the latest logo that just came out a couple years ago.
Oh wow!
And they've gone through like 2 or 3 different logos since 1995.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard. I mean, they did get a lot of things right. Like, I mean, the Coke cans that they're drinking out of all the time are completely, look like the Coke cans from 1995 specifically. So
yeah.
And some other things here and there, like with their products. But there were things like here, like there was like some like Twinkies in the background of one of the scenes that were obviously newer Twinkies. Things that most people probably might not notice, but the Pringles can specifically is the one that bothered me, because it was very like, and I think if you did film on film, which is a little darker, you might not have noticed it as much, because they had a lot of inaccuracies on the with products and stuff on the original show as well, but for some odd reason I don't think they were as noticeable because of the way it was filmed.
Especially too, if they're doing a period piece, that they should probably try to at least do like a.
I don't think it would be that hard to print up a Pringles label and put it on the can from that era. Yeah.
Just
if you can't find a Pringles can from that era, that's fine. Or you know what? Why do you need a Pringles can in the background?
Why don't you just have like a generic, version of Pringles, which they don't taste as good, but whatever. And then
or you can just have a random other product there. It doesn't have to be, But when you got something as recognizable as a Pringles can, it's just kind of, that's what killed it for me. But I will tell you, I think I liked the show. I hope it gets a second season because it needs to develop more. The problem with a lot of these Netflix, shows and a lot of streaming shows lately is that you only give them like 10 episodes to develop in a season. Whereas, regular sitcoms on network television get like, 20 to 25 episodes, to develop.
Yeah, per season. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is just, these kids are obviously, they're most of them are some of them were good actors. Some of them I think need a little work, but then again, so did the kids on that 70s show if you watched the first few episodes. So they developed after a while, but it was like, and you're not going to have the instant chemistry like you do on all shows. It's not like we're with like Friends or something, you had instant chemistry with those actors that was kind of in there because they were all, well-established good actors, even though they weren't like well-known when that show came out. Or even, the original, that 70s show, a lot of those kids had acted in things before. This, you've got like the kid who plays Jake Kelso, who is Jackie and Michael's son. He had acted in, coincidentally, a Nickelodeon show called Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn from when he was a little kid. So he was in that from 2014 to 2018. So, it's like he seemed to be able to like act pretty well, but then you got other kids around him that aren't acting quite as well. I think the girl that plays Leia was pretty good. Her name is Kaylee Haverda. She's pretty good. The guy that played Jake Kelso is Mace Coronel. This show was developed and written, because that's a lot of other people are like, oh, this was just people trying to cash in on the history of these people that made the show before. It's developed, and a lot is written by the same creators of the original show with some new people brought in.
Oh.
So, and I think the direction was a little off here. The director of the original show was David Schraner, who directed 2 seasons of Boy Meets World as well. Right. Of that 70s show. He directed almost all the episodes of that 70s show. And he gave it an interesting feel, like it was like cohesive feel. This did have one director directing most of them, and then the last 2 episodes were directed by Laura Prepon, who played Donna in the original series. She directed 2 of the 10 episodes. And the rest were directed by this director named Gal Mancuso, who has a long history of lots of things that they've directed, and starting way back in 1984, done a lot of television shows like Just the 10 of Us, Major Dad, Herman's Head, The Nanny, The Single Guy, 2 Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, Becker, Yes Dear. I'm just reading off, but there's like so many that Gal has directed. The Middle, Community, directed an episode and was also a co-executive producer of Community. So, not like it's a bad director, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel like there's a whole cohesive feel to the show yet.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, it's only 10 episodes. So, I know you didn't care for it too much, but what were like the standout things you actually did like, if anything?
There really wasn't much that stood out. There was like a few chuckles here and there that I thought was, okay, like some one-liners from Red or something like that, or
yeah,
a few things I can't really remember exactly. There was one line in particular that I liked, but I can't remember if it was Kitty said something or if it was one of the kids. I don't remember. But I don't know. I really just didn't. I just didn't like it. It felt to me. It felt like it's hard to explain. Like it's like it had like a Nickelodeon feel, but like some of the humor was even raunchier than it was in that 70s show, but it was delivered in such a way that it like felt like a kid's show at the same time, so it was like really creepy in all other way. Like where it was like,
yeah,
it was like, wait, they're saying dirtier things they did on that 70s show, but it looks like a kid's show. So it's like
it's funny too, because like all of these kids are teenagers, whereas like in the original show, some of the kids were adults. You know, I mean, famously, like Mila Kunis was only 14 when she started the show, but like some of them were at least 18. You know, and so having older people play younger people is not always a good thing, but sometimes it has a better feeling to it. You know, you don't feel as creepy as the show. I mean, and like I said, I like the show, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember, there was a line, damn it, it was, it may have been when, it wasn't really a line, it was like, Leia, by the way, her full name is Leia Tatooine.
No, it's not.
Foreman. Was that?
No, it's Anne.
Oh, okay, I thought you said Tatooine.
Oh, he did.
Oh.
But then Donna corrected him and says her middle name's Anne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she was, because they were doing this whole will they, won't they thing with her and Jay, and she was going to talk to him at the hub or whatever it was, and he had just basically like made like a new girlfriend or go on a date with her or whatever, and she didn't know what to do. So she just pumped a bunch of ketchup in her hands.
That was funny.
Like, well, I'm just gonna get some ketchup here, and so like that's the other thing too, is like I felt like they were trying to like do like an overkill of like trying to like one up that 70s show sometimes, where like they made her like the Eric of the group, but she was like way dorkier than Eric was even, like, and I don't know, it just sometimes it felt like try hard almost, like I don't know, just to me, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but
I understand. I actually really, I thought she was doing a good job, and she was actually mimicking a lot of Eric, but just a lot of Donna as well. I think she pulled off the mix pretty well.
Yeah.
And there was and I mean the problem with it is a lot of people say that they were trying to recreate the same group of kids, but I don't think they are, because there are similarities, but there's not exact similarities. There's not like a 1-for-1. Like, you know, obviously Leia is pretty much like Eric, but it's hard to, I don't know, there isn't necessarily, I mean, I guess Ozzie's kind of Fez-like, but...
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It's not, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, because, like, you know, like, I mean, that's the thing, too, is, like, you know, we know who their parents are, though, so, like, we don't really know, I guess we sort of know a little bit of the parents of some of the kids, like Eric, obviously, but, like, you know, their personalities may have also been kind of a mixture of the two, you know, their parents or whatever. So, like, and there was another part that I did like, though, is where she went to kiss Jay, and she had, like, her hands, like, facing backwards, or, like, I mean, arms, like, she was, like, skiing, basically, because she was, like, overthinking everything, basically, about, because someone got into her head about something, so she just, that's the other thing, too. So, like, Eric was kind of, like, I would say Eric's more of like a dork than a nerd, because nerds are usually like really smart, and he seemed like he didn't really care about school all that much, whereas Leia like really is into like school, getting good grades and that kind of thing. So like there is like a little bit of difference there, which
plus the obvious, like both it being 20 years, not 20 years, but like 15 years later from the end of that, and like 20 years basically from the beginning of the other show, to it being a female perspective as opposed to a male perspective, which is probably why it's all woke.
Well, because I listened to a review just a little bit ago, and again, that was after I had already watched the show and didn't have anyone else's opinions to kind of push it on and I did come up with the Nickelodeon thing on my own, actually. That was not from any you, that was my own Like I said it like 3 times or so to myself, and he was like, "Oh, like Netflix shows, like they got the obligatory black character, the obligatory gay character, and the obligatory female character," and it's like, are they obligatory, or like, so what you're saying, by definition, what you're saying is that those people shouldn't be in shows, because whenever they are, they're quote just, we just throw them in there because we have to. Yeah, oh, gee, they must feel so welcome. Like,
it's like when you were, if you were to randomly throw them into an already established group of people, they might have an argument. But when you just are starting out a show and these are the people you're being introduced to, you're not doing anything obligatory, in my opinion, because you're creating it yourself. You know what I mean? It's not like, it just happens to be who the people are. It's like a lot of people are online. It's like, there's no way these group of people would all hang out together when, in the 90s.
95, yeah.
I was in high school in 95. And maybe it's because I was part of a more diverse group of people just in general, because I was part of like the drama club and stuff, and that was kind of my main crew. But I hung out with gay people, I hung out with black people, I hung out with people of all walks of life. It wasn't like and I mean, even outside of my friend group, I had Asian friends and black friends and different walks of life, Jewish friends, everything. And this was at a Catholic high school, so it was like,
Yeah, I mean, this, again, like I was talking to someone about this earlier too, and it's like, people have like short memories about stuff, so they're like, because they're like, oh, well, we have to make everything woke now or whatever. Then like, you'll watch like a movie from like the 80s or something like that, and like they'll be literally bringing up like the same exact point, like one of the characters, will be like bringing up the same exact point that you'll see now, being brought up maybe more so now in current TV or movies, but it wasn't like these things were just never spoken about until like 2 years ago or something like that. Like all of a sudden, the woke school came and hired all these actors and had this huge agenda to brainwash your children through Netflix, or who's really brainwashing your children? Andrew Tate. I will look into that actually. Because there's a lot of boys who are really when I say boys, I mean boys.
Yeah. People younger than the characters on this show.
12 and 13-year-old boys are worshiping this dude who rags about like human trafficking, and like just, so like, if you want to talk about brainwashing, that's far more harmful than like some woke characters. Okay, fine. Yeah. Sometimes I do think it feels forced and it is a little cringeworthy. I'll admit that. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's always great. You got to shoehorn a trans person into this show, and you have to do it. Sometimes it does feel a little bit, like
there are sometimes where I feel like it's shoehorned in. Like, I mean, I loved the Supergirl TV show, but when all of a sudden the show jumped from CBS to CW, and they decided to make Alex gay.
Yeah, it was like there
was no mention of it whatsoever in the first season, but there was also no mention of her dating men either. So I guess it didn't really matter, but that was one of the few instances where I'm like, really? Like, and it wasn't like I had anything against it. It was okay. Story-wise, it ended up bringing up some good stories, but it was still like, I felt like they could have just introduced a new character at that point. And I know that that's an argument that people have sometimes when there's like color switching or whatever of a character, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, sometimes it feels like pandering and almost like disrespectful in a sense too, of like, all right, you happy? We threw on one of yours into our show. Like, it's almost like a dismissive, like, all right, that shut you up, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, it's like, you should actually like take care to develop a character, who is that way, and to make him into like an actual, which I'm not saying that Alex was not a good character. No. She was. I just mean, like, sometimes I do feel that, like, basically like corporate wokeism is just like, it's all it is. It's just, they're just there to sell products. They're like, oh, gay people, all right, cool. We'll slap this in here. And those
are the type of things when whatever's selling they'll throw in there. It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, rap is cool now. Back in the 90s, it's like let's have one of our characters rap. Sort of thing. It's not like they care about something culturally. It's more like, what can we make money off of?
And that's the thing. That's what capitalists really care. Like, capitalists do not care about like values or anything like that. They really, they'll just go and make some money because that's really all they care about. I know that people get mad sometimes when they're like, oh, they're going woke, or it's like, dude, that's what sells. They know what's gonna sell, so they're gonna do it. Like, that's, I mean, yeah, you could stay on your principles and make less money, I guess, but they don't want to do that. They want to make more money. No, that's why they're capitalists. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a few good things now that I've kind of, because I watched like all 10 episodes within like a 3-day time span, so it's all kind of blending in a little bit. But I mean, there were a few things like the awkward moments of Leia, like with her arms being stretched out and all the ketchup. I mean, the ketchup thing was pretty funny. I like that. And, but like the thing I didn't really like too much was like shoehorning in the old characters. Like, oh, remember Fez? Oh, remember Michael? And it was like just okay. Like,
my thing is I didn't mind the Fez one as much as I minded the Jackie and Michael one that just kind of came out of nowhere. There should have been a little build up, but they threw that. They shouldn't, in my opinion. Maybe it was just, filming like time wise or whatever. They should have been in a different episode than Donna and Eric were. Or maybe if you were going to have them there, have them share scenes together.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like they were always separate from each other. Like,
yeah. And then, I mean, the main thing is, it's like, Topher Grace said he could only do one episode because he was at the same time filming his own TV series. So, yeah.
What's that one called? I like that one.
Home Economics or something?
Yeah, I like that one.
I have yet to see it. Is it good?
It's pretty decent. I mean, it's it's like a standard sitcom. It's not like deep or anything, but it's. I think it's all right.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. I like Topher Grace anyways, but
me too.
That's the thing is, you see the first episode too, and you have these scenes. I mean, the first episode though, I will tell you, was campy and cheesy as fuck.
Oh God,
there were some good moments in it, but there were some really good moments from Topher though. His comic timing is just unparalleled and very underrated in my opinion.
Yeah.
But they did make him over the top with the whole, teaching the religion of Star Wars and going to space camp thing. It's like, okay, one or the other if you're going to do that.
See, I hate it when they do that stuff. It's like we get it. Like, you don't need to hit us in the face with it. Like, because even then, like, that's the whole thing I was talking about, where it's like over exaggerated stuff. So it's like, yeah, we knew Eric was a nerd in that 70s show, but he was like a cool nerd. Like, that was like that was his whole dynamic.
Well, he was like a stoner nerd, It was like,
that's the thing too. He was a stoner nerd. He didn't really like school, but he was sort of smart enough to skate by anyway. That was kind of his dynamic. And now they're like, oh, he teaches Star Wars, and And
I mean, I know that they did go overboard towards the end of that series too, with that, like with him liking Star Wars. I didn't watch. I mean, I watched every episode of that show, but it did get kind of real lame towards the end, especially after he and Ashton left the show too. So, yeah, when Eric Foreman, who's the main character of the show, leaves, it's like when Valerie Harper left Valerie's family. I mean, Valerie, and then became Valerie's family. It's like, okay, let's
because they had her killed in a car accident.
Yeah,
then they changed it to another show.
Then they changed it to Hogan Family.
That's right, Hogan.
Yeah, so it's like,
it was over the top where it's like space camp. We're going to space. I'm like, come on, dudes. Like, we get it. It's like,
my thing is that they should have. So first you have the thing where obviously there's a Star Wars feeling there. His daughter's name is Leia, after Princess Leia. Then on top of that, he teaches the religion of Star Wars in college. Then you have the space camp thing.
Yeah.
It's overkill.
Yeah. It is. And also, too, the other overkill thing was like their whole like stunted relationship between Eric and Red. You think like by now they would have figured something out 15 years later.
I mean, there were a couple, scenes there where it was like, oh, you're upstairs people now, and and then when I did find pretty funny though when Eric did say the whole foot in your ass sort of thing like Red.
Oh yeah,
to Leia, and then Red was like, I've never been prouder of you. But then they had to undercut the joke with another joke.
Exactly. See, that's the thing too. It's like, and then plus too, like I was afraid after the first episode. Like I don't know if I can watch 9 more of this because like so when she first gets there, she wants to like shoot some baskets because she's like, she's different than her dad. She doesn't want to be like a carbon, copy of her dad. Just like Eric didn't want to be a carbon copy of his dad. So she wasn't really into like space camp stuff or whatever. So then, as she's shooting hoops, in the driveway, she hears some music being playing nearby. And it turns out that it's next door. That's Donna's house where she used to live. And then a new character called Gwen, which later on becomes like her best friend.
Yeah.
Well, one of her best, I guess. Yeah, her best friend in the show. And then she's playing. She's singing.
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette. To remind, how does it go? How would it remind you?
You ought to know. Yeah.
You ought to know. But like, again, like it reminded me of like a Disney show, like Nickelodeon. It was so like campy. Like
it's the lighting.
It is the light, but it's not just the lighting. It was also the way she played it. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was like, and then she's like, what are you doing, creepo, or something like that? Because she's like staring through the window. And then I did like this line. I think she could have delivered it better, but I did like the line where it's like, oh, I was just staying outside your window thinking of what it would like to be you. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy, but
it's like a stalker line. So there were some good lines too that were just not delivered very well, which again, first episode, I can't really blame her. She's probably only like 14 years old or something. So
most of the kids, like, I don't know how old she is, but I think she's like right around the age of the character she's playing. She's like 14 or 15 at the time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, so you even got like the kid who plays Ozzie, Reyn Doi. He's only 13.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he was, he still is, I think, even after the show premiered. So he might have even been 12 when they filmed it. So,
oh, wow. He looks older than that.
Yeah.
A little bit older. Yeah, so I mean, like, there were some, even like the lines that were not delivered well. There's like some other stuff too. Like, I wasn't really into like the whole Gwen's mom is sort of like the Bob character, kind of like
she seems like a mix of the Bob character and Lori from the original series. Like
Lori, yeah,
Lori, the daughter, and the sister, yeah. Who obviously couldn't reprise her role because the original actress died. They did recast the role on the show, not after because she died years later. But the original actress was actually from Sylvania, Ohio. So,
really?
Yeah.
And of course, the person people who made it were from Toledo, and
Bonnie Turner, one of the co-creators of the show, her and her husband Terry Turner and Mark Brazil, created the show, and they named the town Point Place after the harbor part of Toledo. Yeah,
and, I mean that's like our home turf, so we know a lot about these things. I didn't know that she was from Slovenia, though. It's pretty cool. There's not a lot of actors from Slovenia, unfortunately. There's a few, but
I don't know if she was born in Slovenia, but I know she went to high school in Slovenia. I can't remember if it was Northview or Southview, but she went to one of them. So, yeah.
And so Gwen becomes like her new best friend, essentially, and they form a quick bond, and then we're pretty much introduced to most of the other characters, right? Because her brother from a different marriage, different dads, because she's like, part black and he's white, so they have different dads, and then he's trying to shave his chest and doesn't like this, quote, vagina music, which why would you need to not hear music while you're shaving your chest, like, I don't, okay, like, I don't get that.
He can only concentrate on one thing at once. Yeah, I don't know. No, but they just needed the joke, but still, yeah, and that character is
Nate,
who is played by Maxwell Acee Donovan. Yeah, and I liked him. He grew on me. Like, the first episode, I thought he was stupid, but I think he's a good actor.
Well, he was, he was like, kind of like, I know they're gonna say woke, but he was kind of a stereotype breaker, because he was like, football dude and stuff, but he was also very sensitive, and emotional. He was not afraid to show affection to his, best male friend, stuff you don't really, of course, they'll probably say nobody in the 90s would act that way. It's like, well, I don't know about that, but okay.
No,
and then
I did. That's the other thing too, like, people.
Well, that's somebody who plays football.
Yeah.
Nobody who plays football and tackles other guys would ever be gay. It's like, which I'm not saying his character was gay. It's not, but it's like these weird stereotypes people have, like, real men tackle each other and hug each other and slam each other to the ground and masculine, and it's like they look at each other's muscles and take showers together. That's what real men do, not these feminists. Like, what are you describing? Like a beginning of a...
They watch 300 in the WWE.
And so, I like he was a little goofy, but I like...
Yeah, he grew on me, is what I'm saying. Like, I think
it's character as a person. Yeah.
Yeah, the character grew on me, and I think his acting was pretty good after a while. Like, it started out... Plus, after seeing interviews with the guy, he's nothing like his character, so it was, like, interesting to see that. He was acting. He wasn't, like, just delivering the lines. But they do need time to develop all these actors. The one that really needs time to develop, and she was good in certain things, was Sam Morelos as Nikki, Nate's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I just don't think they gave her enough to do in this show.
She was kind of like a supporting character.
Yeah.
I liked her, but she didn't. She was sort of like. They did have like one episode where she was kind of like the main person or one of the main people, but it was mainly the Gwen, Leia, and Nate show, and Jay basically, and then like Ozzie was kind of sort of a background character as well. But not really.
And he was kind of like in certain ways people say he was like the Fez, and it wasn't. It was basically that, but he was very much the stereotypical hiding my feelings because I can't really come out of the closet totally sort of character who was a stereotype at the time in the 90s when you had or the kind of the snappy gay guy, who had all the snarky kind of comments.
Yeah, like the one-liners and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're like, I don't know, like Jack from Will and Grace or something.
Yeah, that kind of like quick-witted, very like almost mean for the sake of being mean, kind of.
Yeah, but you realize it's just basically, if you break it down, you realize it has a lot to do with the fact that he hasn't come out to his parents and other things like that.
Yeah.
And
that's the other woke part. He comes out to Kitty through setting up an email address for her and a computer. Yeah.
And that was the other thing too. People are like, nobody would have hung out with a gay kid in the 90s.
Like what? That's what they're saying that they would like not do.
So you're basically just admitting you wouldn't know. And it's like I hung out with people who were openly gay and people that were closeted gay.
Yeah.
When I was in high school. At the same time, so
that's why I hate these
and earlier too. So yeah,
yeah, that's why I hate these anti-woke arguments, because what they're essentially saying is that they'll only accept certain people as long as everyone else does, so they don't have to rock the boat. So it's like, oh, most people don't care about gay people now. Okay, fine, that's awesome. Yeah, you're okay. But it's like the 90s, like, oh no, I might be in the minority here, so I can't take a stand. Like, you're a weakling little person. Like, quit being the bitch, And like the same thing now with trans people. If they bring in the trans character next season, oh god, you're gonna be seeing nothing but Shapiro. I'm just gonna not be on YouTube for like a year at that point.
No, They won't, I don't think, but
but
who knows? But you've got I mean, if people are like, oh, there was no gay characters in the original series. We just covered the pilot episode of the remake for a previous episode, and there was an openly gay character in the first episode of the TV show.
The mechanic.
Yeah. Might not have been one of the main characters, but
no, but
throughout the show, and I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt played a gay character in an episode who fell in love with Eric. So,
that's right. I forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's right. Yeah, I remember that now. But that mechanic, though, he may have been a bit character, but he pretty much launched the whole dynamic, because without that, Michael and Jackie probably would have broke up.
Yeah.
But then stayed behind because he demanded 2 tickets to fix the car for free because there was money for it. And so, like, he was an important character. He wasn't the main one, but
no.
And that's the other stereotype shatter stereotype, is he's like a mechanic,
Yeah.
Like, oh, mechanics are these, go to Hooters and they drink buffalo wing sauce and they slap the buffalo wings on their face and get their faces all hot with the hot sauce, and they're burning their lips and their eyes, and they're like, yeah, those big tits on those waitresses, type of thing. And instead, you
come back to us. You're breaking into a character.
No, I'm not. This is my personality. This is who I am now.
I hope not. Anyway, so
I am a mechanic that goes to Hooters, and I drink buffalo wing sauce. I slap it all over my face. I burn my eyes. The more burns, the better. I just open my eyes and shove it in there. I can't hardly see the Hooters waitresses because my eyes are watering, the tears mixed in with the buffalo wing sauce. That's what a real man does. A man does not love other men. Except for my favorite football player, who I have like 18,000 posters of, and he's on my fantasy football team. Keyword on fantasy. Anyway, sorry. I'm having a little bit of fun at their expense here.
Yeah. So anyways, we do have, like we were saying, we did have other characters besides our main group there. We had a new character, Sherry, who is the new neighbor to the Foremans, which we kind of talked about. Andrea Anders, who used to be in the TV show Joey, playing, and she's actually from Wisconsin in real life. I was looking up some stuff about her because I was wondering where she was from before. So I don't know. I never really watched Joey, so I didn't know, but she's been in other things, but I guess that's the only thing I can remember in my brain. So, she played the character Sherry Runck, who is the mom of Nate and Gwen. And kind of like we said before, the surrogate, almost like a surrogate daughter to Red and Kitty.
Yeah.
Way over the top. My least favorite thing of the whole show. Nothing against Andrea. I just think it was the way that it was written. So,
I mean, they tried to lampshade it by pointing it out that it was cringe, but it's like, how about you just don't make it cringe?
Yeah. I will tell you that the one thing was pretty funny though, because she was using the shower in one of the episodes at the foreman's house because there was an issue with her shower.
Yeah.
And she was in the bathroom for some reason using the shower in Red and Kitty's bedroom suite. And
yeah, exactly. Like what?
And Red and Kitty went up and had sex.
And she just stayed there.
And she comes out and she's like, "Is it safe?" That was funny. But
I mean, yeah, she's like, "Well, I gotta write this one out."
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was okay with the character. It was a little bit.
I just think it was a little bit over the top, and then added in the fact that she was dating Fez, who is always over the top. It was like 2 over the top characters together is kind of like overkill.
Well, it was over the top, but it was also one of those things of like what are the odds type of thing. So it's like, okay, so your granddaughter is dating Michael Kelso's son, and your next door neighbor is now dating Fez, who used to be one of your one of your sons. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean,
I know Wisconsin's not
Point Place is supposed to be like a real small like suburb, but still, it's like
okay, well, yeah, but still, yeah, it's like, come on, like, you know. And that was the other thing too. So I was, when they started bringing in those characters, I was hoping that, like, you know, at some point they would all be together. I mean, I know it wasn't going to be their show, but it would still be nice to like have, you know, like, for example, like have all of them in the basement smoking pot, you know,
or something,
each other
or even
years.
somewhere
like
else,
that, you know?
even, you know, it'd be cool. Hopefully, you know, if we get a season 2, they do that, you know, that they're able to work around the schedules of all of them. And, but you've got, like, I mean, I was surprised that we got so much of Wilmer Valderrama in this show, because he's currently on NCIS. So,
I know exactly. That's like his new gig for the past 5 years, something like that,
or longer. I don't know. I don't watch that show, but it's
good in there. He's a lot different than Bez.
Oh yeah, he's a good actor. But it's like, I understand they all have other things going on, so it's like but it'd be nice if you could figure out a way where, hey, on this one day, we're gonna film all of you for one scene or something, you know. But don't overdo it either, too. So
yeah, don't make it into like a, oh, remember this character, remember this character, remember that.
Which they kind of did. They kind of did that with Tommy Chong, but he was okay. I like Tommy Chong, so
yeah. Right. I mean, that was, he was Leo. I mean, you can't have a show without Leo in it. I mean,
yeah,
you can't.
We did have one episode where, which I thought was cool. They did some references to Kevin Smith and Clerks, and and they went to find there was a guy that had the video Clerks out for 6 weeks. That was another thing in background stuff. Some of the movies that they had out on the shelves at that store shouldn't have been out there because they hadn't come out yet in video. But of course I'm gonna say that. But yeah,
like I know it's Face Off was out. Face Off came out in 1997.
Yes. But the one thing I think was funny is other two. I mean, I'll get back to the Clerks thing, but people were talking about the clothing and saying that, oh, kids didn't dress like that in the 90s. They sure as fuck did.
Yeah.
All the kids I hung out with did. I found pictures and shared them on that 90s group fan page I joined of me and my friends from around that era.
Especially
and we were dressed like, and my thing is watch a 1995 episode of Boy Meets World. All of these kids could have been hanging out with Corey and the gang.
Yeah. And the dress that Leia wore reminded me of stuff from like Blossom a little bit.
That's the other thing too. Like watch Blossom from that era in the same kind of clothing. Yeah.
Then again, we grew up in the 90s, so maybe we noticed these things more, but still.
People were all like, oh, why aren't they wearing Janko jeans? And like those jeans really weren't as popular until the late 90s.
They weren't. No, they were popular in my particular junior high school among a few people.
Yeah.
And it was only like, a clique of people who wore them. It wasn't like everybody was wearing them. So,
and then then some people are like, well, my friends and I didn't dress like that in 1995. And it's like, well, maybe your friends had a different fashion sense than these.
It's like, so your friends now represent everybody who grew up in the 90s. Okay.
And the thing is with the 90s too, there isn't like there are some kind of styles here and there that are specifically 90s, like, you know, like frosted tips and, you know, and grunge and, you know, plaid, which they made a big deal about in this, and, you know, but there's not like as definitive as like the 70s as far as style goes, you know.
Yeah.
And even on that 70s show, you had, you know, Eric didn't dress like Hyde, you know. It's like everybody had their own style, so it was like, you know, and Kelso didn't dress like Fez, you know. It's like everybody had their own different type of style.
Yeah.
But anyways, Leo had been renting Clerks for 6 weeks, so they Leia gets to see the video and then goes and they find out who had it, and it was Leo. And then they're gonna have a movie night and they're about to watch the movie. Leo had recorded on it the the two lines from Leo that I liked. First off, he's talking to Kitty and Leia when they go to get the video from him, and he's like, you know what I've been watching a lot of lately? The Real World. But if that's the real world, what's all of this? I liked that line. And I also liked on his video of his audition, he's like, I've fallen off of a roller coaster 3 times. 4 times if you count the 4th time.
Yeah, that was a good one. Like these weren't like these little ones either. They were like the big video ones. Yeah. And Leo.
Tommy Chong's always funny. And it's funny that he was the one that had Clerks because, you know, Jay and Silent Bob were basically like Cheech and Chong in a certain way. You know, they're in that style.
They were definitely.
Yeah. And then also Tommy Chong was in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. So it's like, you know, so yeah, he's part of that world anyway. So.
Yeah, also too the fact that Leia didn't really know anything about Clerks, she just wanted to seem cool. Yeah. And so she kept saying like, "Oh, yeah, that sexy Kevin Smith, I can't get enough of him." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Which is weird because you showed me something where people like they obviously didn't consult Kevin Smith for this show.
And yeah, I was trying to figure out like what did he have something to do with the show? I was like, what?
Yeah, and nothing that was in this episode would have needed his consultation at all. You know
a vague reference to a movie he made. Like, I mean, that was all. I mean,
yeah. Like, what else do you want? Like a cameo from him, or do you want him to write the episode? What are you looking for here? You know, so it's like.
And someone else had other things, so they didn't consult someone else that they referenced, or I don't even know what it was, and it shows or whatever. I'm like, okay, I don't understand this. For one thing, sorry, pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
I get really tired when like a phrase becomes like a huge thing, everybody starts using it. So like, quote, "and it shows" has become one of those phrases that I hate now.
Yeah.
Because it's like everyone says it, so it's just like, or like the other one is like, you know, "it's not a good look," or "oh god," it's just that. It's like nothing wrong with the phrases, just that everyone starts using them, and I get
my least favorite for a while there was, "you had one job."
Yeah, oh god, that one. or the other one I like is where it says, "no one, absolutely no one," and then it has like things like, okay, that doesn't make literally any sense at all. That's the other one too, saying literally too often. I just did it, but yeah, it's like. So who's no one? Like, why? Like, does it make any sense? Why would no one say something and then someone else would say it? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's stupid. And another one too is you said the one about that was your one job, and then there's another one I had in my mind. I can't think of it, but it's equally stupid. And yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I've seen these posts too about like, oh, they didn't consult the last word set, and it shows. I'm like, so what? That she's be consulted about how exactly her song's going to be used in the show? I mean, I guess some artists care about that kind of thing, but
even then, it's like all it was a girl singing along to the song.
That was it. Yeah,
like,
it was.
What did she do wrong? You know, like people sing along to songs how they want to, no matter what. I've sung along to the song. It doesn't mean, did I do it wrong? Did I have to consult Alanis before I started singing along with the song?
I mean, did I have to consult Miley Cyrus when I was singing "Party in the USA" in my car, or Beyonce's "You Don't Know About Me," you know, in my car? I mean,
two of the greatest moments of my life for witnessing you do that.
My phone, so. Like, "Hey, Miley, is it okay if I sing this?" Like, Beyonce,
you know,
by
Miley?
the way,
no, wait.
No. By the way, Beyonce, will you marry me and divorce Jay-Z?
I hate to break it to you, buddy.
No, it didn't happen. Well, they're both billionaires, so I mean, you know,
yeah.
They have like an empire together, so they'd be stupid to. They could own half the world if they want.
They have an empire state of mind, actually. Anyway, so the So we, as far as guest stars, also, you know, like Laura Prepon, who directed 2 of the episodes, appeared as Donna like several times throughout the series, like in quick guest spots, which was good. Also we had would have liked to see more of Topher though, but like I said, he only could do 1 episode. we did have Brian Austin Green playing Brian Austin Green and David Silver from 90210, in which was kind of one of the cringiest. I guess they did. The episode was okay, but they did do like fantasy sequences in the original show, and I just didn't like the way they did this particular 90210 one. And I'm also was trying to wrap my head around the whole 1995 of how did she go on a 90210 marathon? Did she have the show taped?
Oh,
how was she watching it over and over again? I was confused by that.
Or maybe they showed like rerun episodes that, well, they didn't really do that back then. So I don't know.
I don't think there was like I don't know, unless it was like running on some kind of like TNT or something at the time, you know. So I don't really know what.
I think they just made a mistake in the writing, probably script or something. I don't think they went through.
But we also had Don Stark back as Bob in the birthday episode. See, that one really bothered me, is the fact that her parents weren't at her birthday party.
Yeah, wait, yeah. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, what the hell, man?
They mentioned it. It was like, it's like, oh, Donna and Eric can't make it. I was like,
okay.
But Donna could just show up whenever, other times.
Or like, how about a phone call? So you told me that Eric is off at space camp by himself, and
they mentioned that he couldn't do it because he hurt himself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
getting out of bed.
Oh, that's right. He didn't go to space camp. That's right. Yeah, so he hurt himself again, trying to overplay the whole Eric's such a klutz and nerd. Yeah. It's like, hey, we understand it's the fourth drop. We don't need to keep this up. But because he fell out of his bed, he can't call his daughter. So what? His voice is wrong.
I mean, maybe it happened off screen. But yeah,
he could have called his daughter and wished her a happy birthday. Anyway, yeah. The whole Bob thing was, I don't know,
a little over the top.
I mean, he always was over the top, but one thing, he looks like he's not doing well.
Well, he's old, you know, so.
Well, I know. I kind of feel a little scared for him, because he was kind of, and the jokes were kind of not that great, and oh well.
I mean, he is 68, not like he's real old, but he's.
No, I'm just saying, like, I just felt
but then again, Kurtwood Smith is 79, and he looked a lot better. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, I didn't know either, but
yeah, and Deborah Jo Rupp, I'm wondering how old she is. She's 71 as well, so yeah. Okay.
Oh, Kitty?
Yeah. And Kurtwood Smith, who plays Red, is 79. That's amazing. Okay, so.
He's been in a lot of cool stuff, too. I mean, he was in RoboCop.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, RoboCop.
I know.
Can't get better than that. Well, yeah, you can. But it's still a good movie. I mean, it's cheesy. Yeah. It's still a good movie. Mm-hmm. Violent as hell. Jesus Christ. Like, I remember seeing that for the first time uncensored. Just, like, completely riddled him with bullets to the point. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, do you really need to shoot him that many times? Like,
talk about diminishing returns, too. Like, the whole, by the time the third one came out, it was completely like PG movie, and it wasn't that violent at all and everything. So yeah,
RoboCop is a terrible movie. We should review that sometime.
Oh yeah, we will. So the final like big guest star they had was Jim Rash as Fenton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Who was like Fez's nemesis from the original series. So yeah,
for some reason I don't remember why.
I don't know. I mean, but speaking of characters who were gay or vaguely gay, Fenton has always been that way. So
yeah, Fenton. Fez, kind of.
I mean, Jim Rash is in real life too, so it's like,
yeah. I mean, I love Jim Rash, especially from Community and
Academy Award-winning Jim Rash. So, yes,
yeah, he's got his, yeah. For what Academy Award was it for? What film or?
He won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay and received a Golden Globe nomination as one of the writers of the film The Descendants.
Oh, okay.
With George Clooney. Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, but I mean, I liked it. I mean, the interesting thing is which really kind of bothered me is they had like a kind of a I've heard people call it a plot twist, which I it's like, no, it's just a plot point at the end of the series where all of a sudden Nate and Leia kind of have feelings for each other, and I liked that, but I wish it would have been developed a couple episodes earlier.
Yeah, I hated that just because of how fast
it was in the last episode, and that was it. I was fine with it, and I thought those were good scenes between the two of them, but they could have been in at least this episode before it. And then you know, but this is kind of what you have this. There's a lot of issues with streaming television, in my opinion, because everything is so like serialized that you have to watch the whole season, especially when it's released like all at once, like Netflix does with this and almost all of their other shows. Like, you know, it's like I kind of miss the whole week to week thing, but then I also hate it too sometimes. So it's like, it's hard to say.
Well, it depends on like how many filler episodes there are and things like that. But yeah, I kind of, and like, you know, there is a way to write things in such a way where, you know, you can skip episodes, but there is still a sort of underlying story going on as well. And that way you're not really missing out too much if you like miss an episode or two or whatever, you know? And,
yeah. And that was the thing with like the original That 70s Show and sitcoms at that time. You could watch like one from season 1 and then one from season 3 and not really feel that lost. You know, you can't really do that with a lot of television series now. And I'm okay with that, but like I was saying though, the thing I hate about like weekly things is like today I was watching Criminal Minds Evolution, and that comes out once a week on Paramount Plus. And I was like, it ended on like this moment where I'm like, okay, I really want to see the next episode now. Like now, like I don't want to wait till next week. Like,
well, yeah, like, that's the cliffhanger.
Yeah. It just made me mad though. So like, why are you doing this to me? But that's okay. I mean, that's just the way it is. But
that's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is, baby.
Some things never change. Was Pierce Hawthorne? So some things are stay the same, or that's just the way it goes, or
yeah.
He's like, is that Bruce? He's like, yeah. He's like, if we get sued, like we don't know, and then he's like something like, oh, it's the way it goes. Like, yeah, they got us. Apparently, they actually wrote in the script of the episode of Community. They actually wanted Bruce Hornsby to show up and like punch Pierce in the face, but they like, yeah, we probably
couldn't afford.
He's like, hi, I'm Bruce Hornsby, and punches him in the face. Like,
oh boy. Anyways, yeah, but so it ends kind of on a cliffhanger. So they better have a second season though. So because
because she's going back to school, you know,
she's going back to school in Chicago, and we have the whole thing where we don't know what her situation with Nate or Jay is at this point. You know, we're skipping over a hell of a lot, and we're just kind of doing a generalization of this thing. Normally we do breakdowns of the full episode, but this was 10, so we're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you weren't happy with that, folks, message me at mike@cullenpark.com and let me know. And I'll send you something. Nice. Something nice. That wasn't a threat.
I'll send you something. Give me your address.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to send you something physical. I'll just like, you know, I'll write you a poem or something. And anyway, so
wow.
Yeah. So what any final thoughts or predictions for like another season of the show? Like what you'd like to see if that would make it feel better for you?
I don't know, just the lighting definitely an issue. Hopefully they'll they'll kind of come into their own a little bit, not make it feel too forced sometimes, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be its own show, so you can't just be a carbon copy of that 70s show.
No.
But I think that, I don't know. I think that it's kind of have to come into its own a little bit, and not be like so like cheesy to the point of like I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like the one thing a lot of people are complaining about this show, and they also said about like Girl Meets World, the sequel series to Boy Meets World. They're like, it didn't focus enough on the original characters.
It's
not supposed to. It's a sequel series. That's like
spin-off. I mean,
yeah,
that's why it's called spin-off. It's supposed to spin off.
And it's like, would it be like complaining that Frasier didn't have Ted Danson in it enough or something? You know,
what's on this Frasier show? How come he's not at the bar anymore? What's going on? Because it's not. He lives a scale now. I mean, like,
yeah,
it's a long ways away from Boston.
It's just stupid that people. It's funny when you read in the same thread people complaining about exact opposite things too. Like, it's like, oh, these characters aren't developed enough. Or the same person will say that too. They're like, the kids aren't developed enough, and there isn't enough of the original cast.
Like, wait, what?
Wait, yeah, it's like,
so you want the original cast to eclipse the ones that you want to develop, but then they can't develop because they're being eclipsed by the original cast. Woke. I don't have any other argument. Woke.
Yeah.
They had 2 Asian characters. Before we had to have 1. Now we have 2. Why don't we just make the whole cast Asian and black? Okay.
The weirdest thing I saw was somebody, because Nikki is obviously Asian.
Yeah.
Or something, I'm pretty sure. But and then Gwen is mixed. I saw somebody online complain and says, I think Nikki and Gwen look like sisters and they shouldn't both be on the show.
What?
Yeah, so they look too much alike. I did not see that at all, and I read that comment like 4 times just to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding what the person was saying.
I mean, I guess the only silver lining on that is that this person, would really have a hard time being a racist because they can't tell the part. So I guess there is some good that come out of that. Because if she thinks that Gwen and Nikki look anything alike each other at all, I mean, nothing about them looks similar. Maybe their height. Maybe they're like around the same height. That's about it.
I was like, do you think that Ozzie and Jay look alike too? Like, what's?
Yeah, just your measure. Oh, they're roughly the same age and they're the same height, so they look just like, no, it's not how that works. I mean, the other thing too is that they dress completely different. Nikki and Gwen, they wear completely different styles.
They looked similar when they went to glamour shots together in the one.
That was because they were
dressing up similar, but that was it.
That was the one time, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would have looked like them if I went to glamour shots with them too. But
well, that's why they have matching outfits. That's what that's supposed to do. It's supposed to. Come on, guys, get real with your comments. I mean, I can't expect them to really. YouTube comment section or any comment section, really. Facebook, what have you. It's usually full of.
Well, it's all
people want to complain about something.
And
so
people are just so hateful in general when it comes to a lot of things. And it's like, I like to like things. That's why I probably have a more positive attitude, not than you, but like than other people in general of this show. And it's just like, I just turn my brain off too when I watch it. And I think it's just, sometimes you want like an old style sitcom from, because it's got a 90s kind of feel to it. And sometimes you want something more intellectual. But, when I just want something to kind of have on maybe in the background, this is a good show, so it's, yeah.
I mean, it's better than 2 broke girls to have in the background.
Definitely. I do think the laugh track maybe was a little too much on this, but they did have a live studio audience, so I don't know how much of it was really the audience or if they if they peppered in laughs or not, So
I think they peppered in some because it seemed at times it did seem kind of
over the top.
Laughter was like really, really loud.
Because I mean, the difference is between this and Nickelodeon did not have a live studio audience for like if you like an iCarly or something.
Yeah,
I've heard interviews with actors who have been on that show. They did not have a live studio audience. All the laugh track on that was added in post. So that was obviously fake. So it did kind of feel like iCarly once in a while, though. So it's like, or Drake and Josh, or one of those type of shows.
Drake and Josh, I got,
or even Keenan and Kel, whatever. So
what's the bad one? Drake and Josh.
Which one?
Yeah, which one's the bad one?
Drake. Yeah.
Drake. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh is Josh is currently on recurring role on How I Met Your Father, which just came back for another season. So yeah.
Yeah, I tried watching the first episode. I wasn't feeling it, so I turned it off. I might watch it.
It gets better as it goes, but it wasn't as good as the first season so far.
Yeah.
But then again, I'll give it time. Watch the next episode and see. But yeah. Anyways, maybe after that season's over, we can cover that season or something. But we'll see, or not. So. But
we'll see, or not, because we don't have eyes anymore.
Well, yeah, I lost mine in shop class, like Ozzie, and
I lost mine from all the lighting. It was too bright, and
they need to turn the lights down a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
Turn the lights down.
Turn the lights. What?
Blow out the candlelight. It's a birthday song. Anyways,
that's right. That's not a appropriate song for a birthday song. That was.
That kind of joke was funnier when a similar joke on Arrested Development.
Oh yeah,
when they were doing karaoke and it was Michael and Maybe singing together. Afternoon Delight. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. But that was because it was played well, and it was they were both singing together, and they're like progressively realizing what the lyrics mean. They're like, wait, what?
when you put the onus of realizing the joke on the person doing it, it's funnier than the fact that Bob just went all in on it.
Yeah,
and the other people are the ones reacting to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a different flip of comedy that would have worked a little better. But maybe if Bob started singing it and started realizing like, oh fuck, what am I singing? Sort of thing. That would have been funnier.
Right.
And I would have been okay with the joke.
Right.
But anyways, any final thoughts here before we wrap things up?
No, I think I'm all. My gas tank is empty, and we can't see Cockney Rebel now unless we give 2 tickets away to the British version of the mechanic.
Yes,
that Sunday show, days like these. So,
Well, anyways, if there's any other TV shows or anything you'd like us to cover in the future, message me at mike@cullenpark.com, or movies, or topics, anything. Just let me know. Also, be sure to check out all2real2.com. You can get everything there. Check out our YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe and share it. I want to build up our audience on there.
And like and comment. The algorithm loved it.
Yes, like and comment. And
actually,
send us money. Oh, wait, no.
Send us money, obviously, but even if you do negative comments, it's actually better because they love negative comments. So start a fight on one of our videos, and then it might actually go viral.
If you have 2 accounts, fight with yourself. That's fine.
Yeah, do it all account. Let's do some fake, some trickery here. No.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
No. Yeah, don't do that. Because
don't do that.
Might get in trouble for that. But
yeah, might get kicked off. Anyways, but subscribe to our show wherever you're listening to it now. Also share it. That's a good thing to do. The best thing you can do, just talk to a friend and be like, hey, I heard this cool new podcast. And then tell them about how much you love WTF with Mark Maron. And, wait. Okay.
Hey, what? No.
Oh, no. He doesn't need me. No, you talk about our show. I'm sorry. I got confused there.
He doesn't need any more promotion. He's
he
fine.
No, you tell everybody how much you love Joe Rogan. No, wait, no.
No,
because nobody does. And
well, except for people who don't know better. But
yeah, probably actually a lot of people do because he's well liked. Anyways, so
yep,
here's a better thing. Message Mark Maron and Joe Rogan and tell them about our show.
Oh.
I'm good with that.
That's nice. Yeah.
But anybody, just tell them about the show. Just be like, hey, check out the show. You might like it. And then tell them to subscribe and make sure you do it too. Have your puppy subscribe. I don't care who subscribes, just somebody. And also check out our Patreon and our TeePublic. Lots of cool stuff there. And I don't know. Am I forgetting anything here?
No, you just say that you love them and I love them.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyways, folks, guess what? I love you. And you know who else does?
Sesame.
He loves you to iddles and biddles. And, and until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.